And let's bring in our friend, Victor Davis Hanson. He's senior fellow at the Hoover Institute and author of The End of Everything, How Wars Descend into Annihilation. Victor, always nice to see you. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
You've been saying that the violent rhetoric from celebrities, a lot of Democrats, helped create this climate which produced that awful manifesto from the president's third would-be assassin. How do you think we got here? How do we stop these deranged leftists moving forward?
They have to be defeated at the polls. They do it not just out of spite, although spite is a catalyst. They do it because they think it unites and energizes the party and it propels them in the midterms or the general elections, and it drives down Trump's polls. And they're not called out on it because they control the media, basically, and popular culture, academia, and they feel these institutional entities will never call them out. So somebody has to call them out and say that when you lower the bar of the acceptable, you're going to, you're going to draw out somebody, hundreds of people that are crazy in a nation of 340 million that would do unthinkable and think they're going to be the next, Luigi Mangione folk hero.
Yes.
So when you have, when Hassan Piker says that Luigiani is basically a hero for committing social murder, and people in the polls, Rutgers polls, the Hill polls show that people either think that Trump fakes these assassinations or that they wish they had succeeded. And I'm talking about 30 to 50% of the people who responded.
Yeah.
Then somebody's got to counteract that.
Yeah, it's very alarming. Let's turn to the Iran war. Earlier today, the president was asked about the different options he's weighing right now. He says he's been on the phone negotiating. Let's listen.
Well, there are options. I mean, do we want to go and just blast the hell out of him and finish him forever, or do we want to try and make a deal? I mean, those are the options.
Do you want to go blast the hell out of him?
I'd prefer not.
He says he would prefer not to blast the hell out of them. You've been outspoken between your book and other venues about not getting bogged down in long conflicts. What do you think is the way out here?
Well, I think the way out is to give it 2 or 3 more weeks, because we're not in a kinetic phase, and see what they do. In other words, if they're losing 400 million in economic output a day, and they may not have the arsenal that they claim they have to hurt the Gulf, let's see what happens if they get close to bankruptcy, and then see what they do. And if they do something, then we overwhelmingly destroy their ability to make war, such as it is now. But I think we have about 2 or 3 more weeks to delay that ultimate decision. The problem is not militarily. We've defeated the military. It's the next step. Do you want to put troops on the ground and go into Tehran and overthrow the regime like we did in Iraq? And I don't think anybody has a taste for that type of nation building or regime change.
Right.
So it's just a question of inflicting as much damage as we can without, at this point, hurting the chances for a resistance movement to have a viable Iran. And that's a hard thing to do. And we bombed 72 days, much longer in Serbia. Bill Clinton did. He hit from the beginning. He took out all the bridges on the Danube. He hit all the electrical plants. He shut down the grid of 1.5 million people in Belgrade. Obama did it for 7 months in Libya, no congressional authorization either.
Right.
He took out ports. He did every cargo TV stations.
But Victor,
a lot of this criticism job. It's not commiserate what we've done in the past.
Absolutely. Pardon me. I just wonder, though, when I hear you say he's got 2 to 3 weeks, you're optimistic, but you do give him some time limits, the president. And you said there can't be nation building, which is the kind of thing that he ran against, obviously. Do you just give him a couple more weeks in terms of, obviously, as a commander in chief, and he has a lot of latitude, but in terms of both the midterms and just the general patience of the American people, it sounds like you, even as a supporter, think he's got a few more weeks here before people are going to get really frustrated.
Well, we're 6 months from the midterms, and there's certain things that are going on simultaneously. The UAA has left OPEC. A lot of other members probably will. They're only pumping 70 to 80% of their capacity. If they all start freelancing, that's a different thing. Venezuelan oil is going to be on the market in greater numbers. We're pumping more. Even the sanctioned Russian oil is going to be more available. So I think the price is not going to go up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then that puts the ball in the Iranian court. We tried to negotiate. We waited 2 or 3 weeks to see what they'd say. And if they get squeezed, they'll either concede or they'll lash out. If they lash out, then we devastate them. If they don't lash out, they will negotiate because they'll face economic ruin at the rate it's going. But I think it takes 2 or 3 more weeks, and that won't hurt the president politically, I think.
All right, interesting. We're going to follow up on that, certainly. Finally, we know you underwent a major surgery over the winter. We obviously want to respect your privacy, but you've been outspoken on social media about that you were battling an illness. How are you feeling? A lot of your supporters want to know.
I have ups and downs. I had the flu this week, so it was a little, I had a lung tumor that was very rare, and it turned out to be malignant, and they took out the whole lobe in the right lung. And then there was an aneurysm, unfortunately, during the procedure, so I had to go back from the ICU for 4 hours, and I lost about 50-60% of my blood capacity and five or six blood transfusions. So
wow,
it was only 3 months ago, so I think I'm doing pretty well, but we don't know what the prognosis of the cancer is. Very rare, and it comes back a lot, and it's not treatable by chemo or immunotherapy. So I'm just hoping that this next week I have my 120-day scans and biopsies. I'm hoping it's negative.
Yes, we're praying for you and thinking about you. You look fabulous. And I know a lot of people around this great country are pulling for you, and we still, your work, your voice is as clear as ever. Victor Davis Hanson, thank you, sir.